Good morning and welcome to Deakin Stadium on a Sunday in the nation's capital. Woden-Weston SCV Monaro Panthers, the 5 versus 8th place playoff championship finals decide. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me is Frank Aisha. I've said good afternoon, I've said good evening. First time I've ever had to say good morning to you on a call.
I know, how good is it, Russ? We have been home. I'll testify for that. We have been home.
Definitely went home. I went home to watch United thrash Brighton 3-2 with a 100th minute penalty.
I thought I was here for the entertainment value, but okay, obviously I'm going to call the game today and you can just come in with the jokes. So that's what we're doing today.
It's a funny old feeling in this one, isn't it, really? Because we're talking to both camps before kick-off. There's a really relaxed vibe around the ground, isn't there? It's a match which I guess doesn't mean a huge deal in the overall scheme of things, Frank, but once both sides get out there and they get underway, there'll be a lot of pride to play for, and it'll turn into probably, we hope, a really exciting match.
Look, I think this game will be full of goals, Russ, and it'll probably end up 0-0. But I mean, I guess for both coaches, it's a chance to sort of have a look at players and what they're looking at for next year and things like that. And for players, it's actually a bit of a sign of intent to see how committed they are and what they think they might be able to produce next year as well.
Saw 2 grand finals yesterday in senior level of good quality. Canberra, Croatia did the double, men's and women's, 2-0 in the women's over Belconnen, and the men's game in which me and Frank were privileged to call last night, 3-1 to Canberra, Croatia. Congratulations to them, and 4 really good goals.
Yeah, wasn't it just out of the box, the goals? You sometimes see a grand final where it's just cut and thrust and then you get one scrappy one over the line, but no, all 4 goals were very good quality. The ball from Jordan Lamb to Daniel Barrach, and then the shot from outside the box from Ryan Keir, and then Felipe's got on the end of a really good breakaway from Gungahlin, and then to top it all off, Amelia Kissis has just smacked one in from the outside of the box to put the icing on the cake, and 3-1 to Canberra, Croatia.
As he does. He's done that very often this season, 4 times in fact. And just a quick shout out on the weather. The skies are blue, the sun's out, there's no wind so to speak of as well, so it's perfect conditions for this.
Russ is telling you that, but it's still cold and it's actually spitting rain, so he's just trying to paint a picture that makes it sound like it's all sweet and perfect.
Let's be honest, after last night's, I felt like Scott of the Antarctic at most stages.
My God.
It's actually quite a pleasure to be up here today.
This is, yes. I mean, I made a joke about yesterday being balmy, but this is actually balmy in comparison to last night, Russ.
Don't get me wrong, I've still got a coat on and old gloves will be going on soon, but
that's because you're soft.
That is true. Last NPL game of the season for us to commentate on. NPL2 Grand Final will be on next week. I'll be on that as well with co-commentator to be announced. Ugali got there yesterday, a 3-2 win over White Eagles. Understand there was 4 send-offs in that game, 3 for the White Eagles, 1 for Ugali. This afternoon, 4 o'clock here at Deakin Stadium in Queanbeyan, City versus Wagga City Wanderers to see who meets Ugali in the NPL2 Grand Final. Well, let's look at the 2 sides here today, Frank. Starting with Woden-Weston, who come off the back of that 3-0 win over Tuggeranong last week. Unsurprisingly, Yuli De Silva unchanged yet again. So he's gone for the 4-3-3. William Lejeune in goal. Chris McEwen, Lachlan Fields, Adam Di Franceschi and Connor Bill across the back. Blaise Vlaslovsky, Nikola Barisic, Roy Anderson in midfield. Mate Barisic, Jay Selden and Miguel De Silva up front. Settled lineup that's in good form.
Yeah, and why would you change it? I mean, he's on the back of 5 or 6 games undefeated, I think, Ross. Exactly.
Yeah, 5 games undefeated, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, no reason for Yuli to change. You might see some other players get introduced a bit earlier than they normally would if the game pans out, and one way or another. I guess if Widener in the ascendancy, or even if Widener need a bit of a change, he might introduce some of these boys off the bench and see how they go.
Yeah, Martin Deng, Joe Boak, Jackson Pacer, Fakedi Manda and Callum Cook, the goalkeeper, on the substitute bench for Woden-Weston. Monaro Panthers make 2 changes from the side that obliterated Canberra Olympic 5-0 last week. Aaron Cashman comes in for Dimi Praskos in midfield, and Ben Bassasilk is in the lineup for Mitch Jervis-Hamilton, we think. There may be a late change. We'll be able to pull that up for you at kick-off. As we were told, the team will be Nathan Alfrink in goal, Sam Rosbach and David Jenkins, James Driscoll and Eli Howe across the back. Aaron Cashman and Nick Dahl in the holding midfield. Lukman Ahmed Shaibu in the withdrawn number 10 role. Up front, Bassasilk, Sam Smith and Adam New.
Yeah, so Jimmy's come in with a couple of changes there. Probably, I think the one about Jervis Hamilton might be a fourth change because he's not even on the bench by the looks of things, Ross. So he must be carrying an injury and not in the squad for today after starting last week. The interesting one for me is whether or not Eli Howe starts at left back or James Driscoll does, because on our team sheet it looks as though James Driscoll is going to partner David Jenkins in the centre of defence, and that'll be interesting. Maybe Eli Howe's out on the left to counteract the right hand attacking side of Woden, which is
they interchanged a little bit last week, so it wouldn't be surprising. Young James Driscoll, good talent for the Panthers. On the bench, Osman Daramy, Ed McCarthy and Dimmy Praskos, and a welcome return for Robbie Kachenko, who's been out injured for a few weeks. Ned Jeffries, the sub goalkeeper. Bruno Kell in the middle.
That's why I turned up.
It's not, it's Theo Dracopoulos in the middle.
Oh, thanks for that.
With Scott Boone and Curtis Schaefer. Theo getting his chance to referee this one. Very few people in the grounds for the early morning. There was a game before this as well in the under-23s. Gungahlin United came out on top of Tigers by 4-2, I think it was, in the end.
A couple of NPL players doing the rounds there as well, Ross. A couple of younger guys.
Yeah, it was quite entertaining to watch. Plenty of goals, plenty of excitement.
Yeah, I was watching at home quickly before I turned up, and 3-0 all of a sudden turned into 3-2 and game in the balance, and it's good to see the young guys go at it for a game like that.
On a bright Sunday morning, the two teams...
And I believe, Russ, the teams will start as selected because Bats Silk is walking out in the 11.
Better eyes than I've got, Frank. That's why you're there. The two teams getting ready. Feels like a junior kickoff, doesn't it? And this is what the juniors do when they come out, walking together. It's a bit bizarre, isn't it? Because the whole feel of it, of an 11:15 on a Sunday, it just doesn't feel quite right.
To be perfectly honest, even some of the games that we commentated during the NPL top four, where they were kicking off at sort of 1:15 or 1:30, felt a bit odd. So this kick-off time is really is going to be strange for a lot of these players, and how they prepared for that will be interesting as well, because obviously their whole routine will be thrown out.
The Panthers looking for a second win in succession. They haven't done that since last year. Round 5 and round 6 against Canberra Olympic and Tuggeranong United. Stringing together 2 wins in a row has been difficult for them. Not been for Woden-Weston, as Frank said, 5 unbeaten. The best Woden-Weston run in 7 years. That was 9 back in 2013. They extended that. Both sides were full of goals last week, and they'll be hoping to add to the tally this morning. Not sure about you, Frank, but after last night, it's very bright looking at this field, isn't it?
Oh, I'll tell you what, Russ, I think there'll be some sore heads in and around Deakin Stadium this morning. Good thing for us, it's not us, but it is.
There's no chance with me, mate, with the amount of cough syrup I've drunk, so... Yeah, there was quite a party last night, I understand, with double-header Canberra-Croatia victory.
I should shout out to Neil Brozanic.
Nick Brozanic, yeah, he shouted the bar after you suggested he should. Cost him a fair few
he's got plenty. He's got plenty. I'm sure he'll do it again.
He's the old real estate agent, isn't he? So
yeah, claim it.
Yeah, absolutely. Claim it back as a business expense.
Hospitality expense.
Getting ready to get us underway. Theodrokopoulos in the middle, and Jay Selden to Roy Anderson gets us underway. A couple of shout outs today as well. Shout out to Vanita Selden over in Perth, watching her son Jay play for Woden-Weston, and shout out to Danny Hodgson as well, also in Perth, watching the match this morning.
Are you trying to get a gig over there, are you, mate? Or
I only pass on the messages I'm given.
It's about 9:15 over there. It's 2 hours until daylight saving, isn't it? Or 3?
It'll be really early morning, won't it?
Yeah.
Football over breakfast.
Over breakfast is almost Ian Bailey type style.
Be interesting to see the mindset of these two sides. I mentioned when these played a couple of weeks back, Woden-Weston won 2-1, a brace of goals from Blaise Vlasowski. This is the most drawn fixture in NPL history. 6 of the 16 matches have ended in stalemate, although there's never been a 0-0 between these two.
And Eli Howe is partnering David Jenkins, Russ.
And Driscoll into left back.
Yeah.
Makes sense, doesn't it? Look when Ahmed Shaibu, little nibble on Vlaslovsky. Free kick to the Wanderers. Nikola Barisic over it. You do wonder how many of these Wanderers boys will still be around next year. I understand Martin Barisic might be looking obviously to go back to Melbourne. Swung in towards Vlaslovsky. First touch of the morning for Connor Bill. Di Franceschi. Barisic loses out and was caught a bit late there by Ahmed Shaibu. That's a second foul in quick succession, although he pleads his innocence.
Yeah, so that's 2 in a row. Interesting to see how Monaro lining up here. It almost looks as though Nicky Dahl is playing in that 9 role, or almost like a false 9 role. He's got forward both times, Russ, to put pressure on the back line.
Nice to see an apology from Ahmed Shaibu. I don't think there was any malicious intent involved. Perhaps not quite as awake this time of day.
I love how people think if you apologise, it doesn't hurt as much.
No, absolutely.
Or if it's an accident, it doesn't count.
David Jenkins, who was proud to be announced in the team of the week, team of the year, I should say. Sam Smith was giving him a little bit before you turned up, Frank. Here is Smith. A couple of goals last week, took his tally to 3 for the season. Yeah, they're giving David Jenkins a huge amount of grief about being in that team of the year. I said to him, that's because his $500 cleared into my bank account. Easy way to get selected.
I was about to say, Ross, that you wouldn't even notice $500. King of Canberra commentary.
We don't live in a palace in Garran like yourself, though, Frank. Little helipad on top of your house there. Can see it from here. Adam Near with the corner. Swings into the near post. A massive air swing by McEwen. Lejeune sends it downfield. Roosbakken. Cashman under pressure from De Silva. Roosbakken likewise from Selden. Bassa Silk. Ahmed Shaibu couldn't force it through, and Di Franceschi can find Anderson, and the Wanderers can look to attack. Nice ball to Nikola Barisic. Bit of space by Mate Barisic on the right flank. Not much in the penalty area to aim for at the moment. Looked for Miguel De Silva, but slightly overhit.
Really good ball there to release the pressure there from Anderson that opened up that whole right hand side of the attack for Woden. Mate Barisic is going to give Driscoll a torrid time if he's left 1-on-1. They really need to support Driscoll out that side pretty early.
Well, nudge from Barisic on Lukman Ahmed Shaibu. Anderson picks it up. Vlaslovsky brings McEwen forwards, and Eli Howe just steps in. Lachlan Fields comes across, gets up for Adam New. Here's a chance for Miguel De Silva. It might fall here for De Silva, and it's a complete air swing, and Cashman pokes it away from Selden, who was interested as well. Yeah, good chance, that.
It was a massive chance. Selden did really well to beat his marker. Got in on goal. Miguel De Silva obviously got there first. Had he not been in that play, I think Selden was odds on to finish that, at least get a strike on target. But Miguel De Silva just got a little bit excited there, and a big fresh air swing.
Nikola Barisic with the corner, swings it in towards the far post. Fields with something acrobatic. Went for the Ibrahimovic volley. Would have been spectacular if that had come off. Lachlan Fields hasn't scored an NPL goal. Might have been some way to open the account.
He got about as much of that as Miguel did, mate, to be honest.
It looked slightly better though, didn't it?
It did look a bit better, yeah. Throwing yourself sideways to hit a volley as opposed to an air swing.
I mean, same outcome, different approach. Is Selden looking for Barisic down the middle, and Jenkins got the nod back to Nathan Alfrink. 67th time Nathan Alfrink's kept goal in the NPL today. David Jenkins moves on to 97 appearances, so he's going to bring up the 100 next season if he goes round again, which I'm sure he will. There is Dahl in the false 9 position that Frank commented on. Rosbakken. Ahmed Shaibu. Challenged by Nikola Barisic. Here's De Silva. Jenkins slides in with a challenge. Cashman nods it down. And Jenkins can bring Rosbakken into play. And that's a good ball looking for Adam Neo. Chases on. Di Franceschi's there in front of him.
And keep an eye on the Nikola Barisic, Lukman Shaibu one-on-one, Russ.
Yeah, there's a couple of little things going on off the ball, isn't there?
Definitely is.
Yeah.
I don't think it's malicious or anything at the moment, but could develop. They're both giving as good as they get, that's for sure. So, and a shot there from Lukman that doesn't really...
no test for William Lejeune. There was a little bit of residual, I think, even though Ahmed Shaibu apologised for that tackle on Nikola Barisic.
One of those things I forgive but I don't forget type thing, Russ, I guess.
100%. Here's McEwen looking to bring it forward for the Wanderers. Passer Silk slipped and McEwen can't find Blaise Vlaslovsky. Woden's biggest ever NPL win was against the Panthers back in 2013. A huge 9-0 victory on that occasion. And good turnaround for Yudi De Silva and his team after that poor start to the year. They couldn't buy a goal for the first 4 matches and they lost the first 5. But a Christian Jenner own goal turned it around down at Nigel, and since then, as we mentioned before, unbeaten in 5. It's difficult for a lot of teams there, Frank, as well, isn't it, that they've got to recharge over the summer and see what personnel come back and almost start again.
Yeah, I agree, Russ. I mean, there's a few boys here that, obviously have come back to Canberra from interstate, and whether or not they've got ambitions, or not just the ambitions, if it's available to them, to actually travel over interstate or somewhere else and apply their trade. Like I said, Barisic especially, he'd signed with a Melbourne NPL side, I think Dandenong. Whether or not that competition gets up and running next year, and how that goes.
Yeah, I was talking to him beforehand, and Nikola Barisic as well, and I think Marte wants to head back to Melbourne if he can, but there's a big if around that. As we mentioned again, we've been very grateful just to get a season in here in Canberra, even if we're finishing it in the rather unusual surrounds of a 5th to 8th place playoff. Live on Bar TV Sports, 10 minutes gone, no score. Woden-Weston versus Monaro Panthers, and a very eerie kind of atmosphere.
At least the sun's out now, Ross.
It is, it's actually getting quite warm, isn't it? I might have to take my coat off. Jenkins, long ball forwards. Rosbakken's put the hammer down, trying to get away from Connor Bill, who slipped momentarily but manages to find McEwen. Vlaslovsky helps him on his way, but James Driscoll can bring it forward for the Panthers. Smith. Passer Silk. Ahmed Shaibu. Passer Silk asked a little bit too much of Sam Smith there. A little glimpse of what the Panthers can offer when they knock the ball around, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, you've got people like Passer Silk and you, but started off their juniors and played a bit of NPL at Olympic. You've got Sam Smith that played a lot of years at Belconnen. Nick Dahl.
Ball through, looking for Miguel De Silva. He's got better contact on this one. There was a late challenge on him there as well by Rosbakken after the shot went away, and there was an appeal.
Yeah, that was would have been touch and go. I think the referee was definitely looking at his lines and for a bit of support there.
One of those ones, if it happens in the middle of the park, you give a free kick.
Probably give a free kick, yeah.
But you very rarely see one to play against a shot away. A penalty given. Good run there from De Silva.
Yeah, definitely. Miguel's got a real ability to find spaces and pockets of space. He's a tricky little customer. He actually spent some time playing for Arpia under 20s in the NPL in Sydney as well. So he might be another one that might be looking at going outside of Canberra next year.
Marte Barisic just come across to this near side. Leaves the throw for Bill. Nikola Barisic.
I think he was trying to find his brother there. He made a good run off Westbacken.
Horrible slice. Bill gets away rather easily from Adam New. Mate Barisic under pressure from Rosebarken. No free kick given, and Jenkins slices one as well. Bit scrappy opening, isn't it?
Bit stiff not to get a free kick there, Mate Barisic.
Anderson finds Bill. Nicely done by Roy Anderson. All his Premier League goals came against Olympic. 3 of them this season. Good switch from Bill to Selden. A chance here for the Wanderers. Not many numbers in the box. Selden might not need anyone. Runs into trouble though, and the Panthers can clear. Maybe a chance to construct something on the break with Sam Smith. Cashman. Bit of space here for Bassa Silk. Rosebarken. Adam Neer is ahead. Dahl. Firm challenge to Franceschi, but Theodorokopoulos played a long advantage there and went back for the free kick on Adam Neer.
Certainly did, Ross. Really good foundations though for Woden. If you look at the players that they've got, if they can retain these boys for next year, the majority of these boys, and maybe add a couple of senior players they've got a really good foundation there.
Neil swings it towards the far post. Eli Howell was challenging with Vlaslovsky, who won the header. Similar could be said of the Panthers, so I guess. Some players in that squad that will be around next year. Jenkins playing far up the field today, trying to get a ball into penalty. Cashman should bring this under control. Mentioned the feel about it, Frank. It does feel like a Sunday morning kick around at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely needs a goal, this one. For different reasons last night, we wanted a goal in that grand final early to bring one team out, but this one definitely needs a goal, Russ, for different reasons. It just needs to wake everybody up a little bit, I think.
De Silva tried to find Mate Barisic, but Jenkins just stepped in front, which De Franceschi copies at the other end in the head of Nick Dahl. Anderson tries to squeeze his way past 3 Panthers shirts. Dahl, little nutmeg on Connor Bill, and Adam New tried to put Dahl down the channel, but Jim Franceschi was there doing the defensive duties.
Impressed with Anderson, Ross.
Got some good feet, hasn't he?
Yeah, I like him.
Cashman slides it into that gap, but Nikola Barisic was there. Seen a couple of players slip this morning. Maybe a bit greasy out there on the surface.
Might have had a big night last night too, some of the boys, I'd say, for us.
McEwen.
Looking at some Instagram stories this morning, I think some of the boys might have had a bit of a night.
I understand that the Panthers had their WhatsApp chat, what's going on, till quite late. Eli Howell comes in. Barisic. De Silva tries to make the run, and it was a good read by Jenkins. Ahmed Shaibu. Rosebarken. Dahl tried to squeeze it inside, and Bill was there. Lejeune sends this one straight out of play.
Got to be honest, Russ, I think a couple of minutes ago I just started to see if I could count how many times 3 or 4 passes are actually put together, and I don't think I've got to the one yet. Every time the second pass happens and the third pass seems to go astray, or it's not, and you can hear Jimmy Canarides the other side of the field asking his players to start controlling the ball.
Yeah, there wasn't much between them when they played a couple of weeks ago. It was 2-1. Blaise Vlaslovsky scored twice either side of a goal from Adam New. Early in the year at Melrose, there was a 3-0 victory for the Panthers when Western were going through that poor run of form. Ahmed Shaibu with a couple, and Robbie Kachenko with a lovely goal on that occasion as well.
Yeah, he was really the star of the show that game for me. I know.
Played centre back, didn't he? If I remember rightly.
But every time he got forward, he really created a fair bit in attack.
But they're 2 evenly matched at the moment, and we are looking for a breakthrough. De Franceschi. Bill.
again, we're getting to 3 or 4, getting to 3 passes, maybe 2, and then that's it.
Oh, that's a soft, hard one on the head of Ahmed Shaibu from Nikola Barisic. Little flick around the corner, and you did mention it.
We mentioned it, yeah. It's definitely on.
Fortunate to escape a card, perhaps. Ahmed Shaibu not impressed. Barisic pleads his innocence. You just ran into me, mate. Howe finds Driscoll. Loses out to Vlaslovsky. Cashman has it back for the Panthers now. Bassa Silk.
It's got to be hard for these players to front up though, Russ, as well. Even though there is another game on, this is it. It would have been really difficult to actually get motivated for some of these boys to front up and play on a Sunday morning where, it really is not even really a consolation prize, is it?
It's just another game. It does feel like a friendly, doesn't it? Which is exactly what it is, I guess. One more game for them to go. Jenkins ball forward. And we are joking, we did make a joke about the kick-off time at 11:15, but it doesn't help, does it? I mean, it changes your whole routine of how you set up, and De Franceschi's made a bit of a meal of that. And he's had a bit of a
kick out, and a kick out as well. And he's got the free kick.
There's a bit of afters there as well, wasn't it?
There's more than a little bit, Russ. We saw it.
Not normally for a little bit of undertone, but I think this game could do with something.
I think it's there. I think all the ingredients are there.
I'll tell you what. Lucky the camera can't see this. Frank's taking off the coat. He's in shirt sleeves now. He's like a loving life.
Well, I'm just trying to get the gig in Perth with you.
I've only gone for a...
What do you mean? Lucky the cameras can't. I must say, we looked nice in our suits.
Oh, look!
Watch that back
absolutely. I mean, everyone's just like, well, it looked like we were going to a wedding.
I think it would have been good for the players too to at least we looked like we were professional last night.
We tried our best.
We did
try our best. I mean, it was quite cold. I mean, it needed to be thermal suits for us. Would have been nice. But yeah, it was good. It was a good day. It's good to have a bit of a build up to the show as well. And thanks for everybody that tuned in and watched. Thanks for everybody that's been watching all season and commenting, and it's been great to have plenty of chats and shout outs to people and a bit of banter as well. If you are at home watching this over your hash browns and bacon and eggs, feel free to drop myself or Frank a message and we'll give you a shout out in the second half. Cashman steps into midfield. A loose one, but Bassa Silk will prod it forward, and a chance for Adam Neo to stretch the legs against Chris McEwen. If he can keep it in play, but he does. Looks to take on the fullback. It is at the expense of a goal kick. Jimmy Canarides threatened to come on today. Said he'd get himself a game.
You know what? I reckon half his team would be happy to see that, just so they can maybe give him some instructions.
I was lucky enough to have a chat with him around there at the time, and he was talking about, he said he wanted Sam Smith's number 9 shirt, and then Jimmy said, well, that'd be 99 by the time he gets it on. Selden.
The sponsors definitely get their value.
Nice turn from Selden. Chance here for Miguel da Silva to perhaps deliver something. Let's go back to Vlaslovsky. McEwen. Good ball that over the top of Rosebuck and finds Mate Barisic. First real attacking threat of the game. Barisic into the penalty area, and Bassa Silk. Discretion, the better part of Valor to concede the corner.
Yeah, you'd probably want to see Nathan Alfred just come out and claim that and avoid the corner. But Mate Barisic one-on-one is always going to be dangerous. He beat Rosebuck and then looked to put a little nutmeg on David Jenkins. But that's a really good sign there for Woden if they can start getting him on the ball one-on-one.
Nikola Barisic over the set piece. In towards Vlaslovsky. It bounces its way all the way through. De Franceschi picks up the pieces. De Silva looking for half a yard, and De Franceschi's flagged offside. Disappointing end to a promising build-up.
Yeah, you really got to get that ball in the box in that sort of situation. You've got players committed forward. Miguel just looking for that extra touch, maybe looking for the perfect opportunity to put a cross in. Sometimes it doesn't need to be perfect. It's going to be dangerous if it goes across the face of goal there, Russ. So, it's one of those ones where you don't need to be 100% accurate. Just needs to put in the right spaces.
Bassa Silk looking for Sam Smith. Brings it down nicely. Connor Beale close behind him though. Resbarken looks for Cashman. Halfway through the first half of this playoff, no goals between the Panthers and Woden-Weston, and no real chances, so to speak. Can't remember either keeper being forced into action at all.
No, the best chance was when Selden turned his marker and Miguel couldn't get onto it.
Here's Bassa Silk looking to change that, taking on Anderson, going the long way round. Anderson blocks off for the corner. Chance for the Panthers to send Jenkins and Howe into the penalty area. Interestingly here, Frank, Wanderers leaving 3 up front.
Yeah, as opposed to, imagine you compare that to last night when you got Gungahlin had 11 players in the box defending every corner and not one player up forward. Very different style of coaching, I guess. And as we mentioned last night, it's a game of opinions, obviously, and different coaches have different styles.
Adam Neo with the corner, swings it in, and the header was won by Jenkins. Didn't get enough on it though. Barisic did plenty defensively. Bassa Silk backwards to Driscoll, and that's a loose one, only as far as De Silva. And Panthers have it back. Neo swings it into Nick Dahl, tries to flick it off to Ahmed Shaibu. Tried the first time snapshot, wants the corner, and William Lejeune looks to prevent it and can't, and it is a corner. Wonder if they would have got that if the keeper hadn't gone charging out of his goal to try and stop it. You know what I'm saying? Gave himself up here
a little bit, didn't he?
It's far from clear cut.
I was about to say, Ross, as soon as we took our jackets off, the sun went behind a cloud.
I know, we've just jinxed it, haven't we, really? Adam Near's gone across the other side. Eli Howe's got 3 or 4 metres of space on the edge of the penalty area.
But both sides, they just need a bit of composure, Russ. Just someone in the middle of the park to put their foot on the ball and just slow things down a little bit.
Neo swings it in. Howe's the target. Howe wins it. Real chance and volleyed in by David Jenkins, of all people. The centre-back gets his first goal of his career in his 97th game.
Well, it was a really good header from Eli Howe. We saw that last week against Olympic, where he missed a chance. He's put that across the face of the goal, and cracking finish there from David Jenkins to put Monaro 1 goal up.
Never scored before, has now.
And that's just to add some more pressure on Cam Doherty, I guess, Russ.
He's got there before he got the century as well. Cracking finish too. Howe won the header and Jenkins on the volley.
Well, was that a bit of a salute to you, Russ, after he scored?
We were talking that he'd never scored a goal before, before kick-off, and I think he's pointing it out that he's got his first one now. Things we didn't think we'd say today. Kick-off, good morning, kick-off at 11:15, and David Jenkins on the score sheets. Tick both of those off on your bingo card if you've got them at home.
If you had that on my bingo card, you would have torn it up before the game started, Russ, to be honest.
Yeah, one of the most unlikely goals of the season comes in the final match of the season at NPL1 level.
That's great. At least we've got a goal now. We've got 20 minutes left in this half, and it means Woden have to come out and really start playing.
Dahl. Cashman. Well, there you go. I guess that cements his place in the team of the season, doesn't it? Goal-scoring centre-back now. Rosebarken under pressure from De Silva. He's had a really good year as well, hasn't he, Sam Rosebarken?
Yeah, he's been good for a number of years for Monaro. I was just thinking back to our team of the season. We had Clements as a partner for Jenkins. Did he get on the score sheet this year? I thought he did.
I think he did, didn't he? Yeah. He did get a goal.
Oh, well, there's a prerequisite.
We have to.
Yeah.
It's the only reason we didn't pick Cam Doherty, because he hasn't got a goal yet.
Good result.
And Matty Goodshire.
But we had the out there. He didn't start 3 games in the first 7.
I couldn't pick him for the haircut. The Mink Pink led his team to grand final glory. Neo swings it in, another corner. Well, they pick up at Eli Howe this time.
And interesting, if you go back to the corner that was actually given for the Jenkins goal, we talk about moments. Had Lejeune not give himself up, it might have been 0-0.
There's Bassa Silk looking for a strike. Jenkins had made his way forward again. Goal hungry now. Fields. Nice turn that from Barisic. Should be a free kick, surely. The whistle does go. Woden-Weston haven't quite found that fluidity and cohesion that they've been showing in recent weeks.
Yeah, they really need to start getting Mate Barisic and Selden on the ball. Even that front three, Miguel da Silva as well. Just get them on the ball as much as you can. Go and support them and link up.
Fields. De Franceschi. Da Silva. Does keep up the Panthers' record. They've now scored 16 in their last 17. Scored in 16 of the last 17 games. The only one they didn't score on was that 0-0 with Belconnen. So they do find the net, and I have mentioned before that they do struggle sometimes once they get one to get two. Hasn't been the case too much in the final series. They got 3 last week, or 5 last week, I should say. Could have had plenty more. Got 3 against Tuggerong, and arguably there should have had plenty more as well. Bill can only find Cashman, and he's won a free kick, and again Howe and Jenkins will make their way into the penalty area.
No, Jenkins has scored now, Ross. He's done.
Once you get one, don't you want more?
Well, 4. Dude, he's proven he can do it. You watch him get a hat-trick today.
Adam Neo over this set piece. Again, Jenkins and Howe are the obvious targets.
Tell you what, if I was Woden, and I'll get this ball quickly up to Mate Barisic.
Swung in towards Howe, who nearly won the header.
He's one-on-one with Cashman here.
McEwen looks for that ball.
Yeah, too slow.
Howe picks it out. Ahmed Shaibu. Smith. Bassa Silk. Nice move on to Adam Neo, who tries his luck from distance. He's been in good goal-scoring form lately as well. 3 in the last 3 for him.
And Nikola Barisic picks up the first yellow card of the game for his foul on Ben Bassa Silk.
Maybe accumulation?
Yeah, I think Theo was tempted to blow the whistle, but once Adam Neo had a shot at goal, he played advantage and didn't call it back, which is probably a good... it was well ref, to be honest.
4 yellow cards in 8 matches for Nikola Barisic this year. Some return.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that's seen Nikola Barisic play over the last few years knows that he's robust and puts himself in the challenge, but he puts himself about, and that's what he's picked.
Yeah, you run the risk sometimes, don't you? When you play like that, and he's one of those players, makes life distinctly uncomfortable for those around him in the opposition colours. As Lukman Ahmed Tribe's found out. Resbarken steps away from the challenge of Miguel da Silva. Smith, industrious as ever, looked for the bit of magic and got really lucky. Fields in front of Dahl. Barisic looks to take on Cashman, but Cashman stands strong. Wins his team a throw-in with Coronado play in the first half. Woden-Weston 0, Monaro Panthers 1. David Jenkins with the goal, if you've just tuned in. Da Silva. Anderson. There's that little bit of trickery again. Nice little nutmeg on Aaron Cashman. Nikola Barisic helps it on to Vlaslovsky. Couldn't quite get it under control. McEwen. Vlaslovsky. Barisic. Smith snapping in and Bassa Silk taking over, and Fields slipping at an inopportune time. And here's a chance for the Panthers. It's Adam Neo sliding it across. Bassa Silk was there. De Franceschi got a foot in before the midfielder could get on the end of it. And here come the Wanderers at the other end with Vlaslovsky. Looking for the ball towards Da Silva. Horrible bounce for Rosebarken. He's managed to get it under control.
Yeah, the issue there with Blaze getting forward was every attacker from Woden was running away from the ball. he didn't have anyone approach.
Neo, lovely pass to Smith. He's all on his own. Sam Smith at the moment. Adam Neo's come up in support. Nick Dahl's back there too. Smith goes on his own. Challenges in with Connor Bill. And the upshot is the goal kick.
Getting a bit cold again, Russ.
Been struggling all week, Frank, you know this. Out here for the supporters. Could have been tucked up at home in bed.
Watching replay of Man U.
I'll put myself through that nonsense more than once. Here's Barisic. Bill. De Silva. Challenge from Nick Dahl. Was a good one.
Now Sammy Smith's deployed a lot more forward, Russ, and Nick Dahl seems to have dropped in.
Smith played in that number 9 role last week and scored a couple of goals, and he looked quite sharp up there. It's the kind of player that will put in a shift wherever he's played anyway, won't he? Barisic, lovely ball round the corner, almost got De Silva in. Rosebarken with the challenge. Anderson ahead of Cashman. De Franceschi. Crossfield ball looking for Jay Selden up against James Driscoll. And the Panthers youngster wins that particular duel.
And that's a bit of an example of what I'm saying, Russ, around just putting balls into good areas. You know, if you've got Selden one-on-one with Driscoll and you just put it out into that area, it doesn't have to be pinpoint, but at least gives him a chance.
Here is Selden. Reasonably quiet opening by his high standards. Bassa Silk. Now there's space here for Nick Dahl. Sam Smith is the only runner ahead. If Dahl can find him, and he has. Here is Smith from distance. Might try his luck. Got a decent strike on him, hasn't he, Smith? He'd be disappointed not to have tested Willem Lejeune.
Yeah, I would never knock a player for having a strike on goal, Russ, unless it's actually, blatantly obvious that there's someone in a better position. But I think, he put it over, but he did everything he had to do, except for put it on target.
He was the furthest man forwards, and he is again, as Driscoll looks to go off on an adventure. Stopped by Blaise Glazlowski. James Driscoll playing his 6th match at this level. His only his 2nd start though from the substitutes bench. It's been quite impressive when we've seen him in the under-23s this season as well, so he's well worth a call up to first grades.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, in this situation where you've got a free shot at looking at players for upcoming seasons, you might as well blood them now and have a look and see if they're up to this challenge. And at least, even if they're not, you can sit them back down and tell them where they need to work on it.
Cashman tried to find Dahl. Rosebarken's there. It's all twist and turn as well, but Anderson.
Nutmeg.
Been a few of them today, isn't there?
There has been a few.
Fair few nutmegs around. How?
Oh.
Got a bit lucky with that clearance. McEwen sends it back to Vlaslovsky. Here's a chance for Mate Barisic. And Jenkins doing what he's more renowned for, his defensive work. Here's Ahmed Shaibu, again with Barisic. Cashman. Goes long, looking for the run of Nick Dahl. Good ball that. Now Dahl, can he deliver something into the penalty area? It was awkward.
I was about to say it was an awkward height, wasn't it?
Dealt with nicely though by De Franceschi. Here he is again. Could only find Rosebarken with his clearance there. Bassa Silk. Driscoll clips it into the area, but there's nobody there in a Panthers shirt. 10 minutes to the break. A bitty half, I think you'd say.
Just on the young guys coming in, Ross, you've seen it even with Bunell and Tuggeron. Defensively, they're really good. It's that next part of the game, even there with Driscoll, is finding targets. So it's not just a matter of winning the ball, it's about winning the ball and then hurting the opposition.
Jenkins taking a bit of a risk here, up against Barisic. Backs himself. Here's Anderson. Cashman took a massive swing at him. Dahl finds Rosebarken. Can he keep it in? No, he can't. Says Curtis Schaefer. I still think, go back to your comment, sorry Frank, a couple of 10 minutes ago now about the passes being strung together. We are still really waiting to see more than 3 or 4 put together, aren't we?
Yeah, we've probably seen more nutmegs than we have combinations of 5 or 6 passes, Russ, to be honest.
Probably in keeping with the general feel of it all. McEwen. Fields. Lejeune, who has had absolutely nothing to do except to pick the ball out of the net. Like David De Gea last night. 1 save to make. Beaten 5 times, hits the crossbar and 2 goals.
You can hear Woden boys talking about being patient now, which is, at least they're showing a bit of composure now and a bit more maturity. It's good.
De Franceschi's ball forward. There's Vlaslovsky. Been on the peripheral for the first half an hour. It's a good ball forward, but Selden's just straight offside.
Gee, I tell you, that must have been tight from when that ball was played.
Scott Boone, the official on the far side.
But that was a better build-up there from Woden. You saw them playing around the back until they found the opportunity to release Blaze and then Selden.
That's a poor touch from Cashman. Vlasovsky looking to take advantage. Can't. Dahl up against Bill. Does well there, Nick Dahl. Does even better with a little spin away from Nikola Barisic, and here comes Basasilka. There's another slip. This time it's McEwen, and it's opened up a gap for Adam New to go into the penalty area, but he's overrun the ball. Must be really slippery on that topsoil, because I saw a bit of this last night and it's happened. We've seen 5 or 6 people having
last night we could have probably been excused with a little bit of rain and probably sleet. But yeah, it's obviously there's a bit of moisture in that pitch as well, Russ.
Barisic beaten by Jenkins, who in turn is beaten by Anderson. Selden trying to get away from Driscoll, who's stuck to his task manfully out there today.
He's got his own supporting group here, Russ. He's got his own fan club.
It's good to have a few people here. Bit of noise. Here is Driscoll.
Fair to say, Russ, I think some of the boys at Woden that have probably enjoyed this little run of success are looking a bit frustrated at the moment.
Well, they've not been on the back foot like this for a while, have they? It'll be a good test of their character. Anderson. Bill. Handball here against Roy Anderson. Another late decision by the official. 6 minutes left of the half in this first 45 minutes. The bottom 4 Championship Series playoff decider. David Jenkins' goal, the difference. So that's a poor ball from Howe. Here's a chance for Vlaslovsky to bring it forward, but his first touch took him backwards.
It's been a couple of times there, Russ, where Vlaslovsky's got into the attack and probably just taken a false touch and broken up the attack or allowed the Monaro defence to get back.
Jenkins looking for the crossfield ball. McEwen watching it the whole way. Got there ahead of Driscoll, and the header's a good one, and Driscoll's out of position now. Chance for Jay Selden to perhaps take advantage. Swinging in, Jenkins hoiks it in the air. Barisic with Alferink. Coming together between both of them, and I think Nathan Alferink's elbow may well have caught Martin Barisic on the head there as they both went for it. Nothing untoward, I don't think, but a very sore one.
No, both players are down looking decidedly sore. You
can see Alferink holding his elbow, so that's why I think maybe he collided with his Barisic's head. Martin Barisic perhaps
both up,
thinking it was premeditated. I don't think it was from where we were. Keeper's always going to be favourite for those kind of challenges.
100%. Call me cynical, but if I saw a goalkeeper wringing his arm like that, I'd be shooting at the next opportunity. Sorry, Russ, but
well, a few people you wouldn't want to be running into at full pelt in the Premier League. Nathan Alferink. It's a big unit. solid with it. No, nothing untoward though to Mate Barisic. He's shaking that one off.
Woden have actually just come into this game a little bit more rust the last 5-10 minutes or so. Maybe just that spell of possession helped them. Just a bit of composure, and now they're just starting to ask a few questions of the Monaro back four. Nothing clear cut beyond that, but just starting to get their foot in the door a bit.
Anderson finds Bill. Obviously the Cocoa Pops they've had for breakfast have kicked in. The energy levels slightly risen. Final 3 minutes of the half.
Now here's a test. You know, if Alfrink's got any sort of injury, you put this somewhere in around the 6-yard box, and you got Lockie Fields and Blaze running forward. Bit of a test of his fortitude.
Nikola Barisic with the free kick, lifts it into the area. Here comes Alfrink
and he's stood up to it really well.
And here's Adam Neo on the counter. Looks to find Smith down the middle. Finds Cashman. And that's a good ball over the top for Nick Dahl. He's got a bit of space here. Connor Bill looking to shut it down as quickly as he can, and got back very well, the fullback, to get a touch on that at the expense of a corner.
A lot of character shown there from Nathan Alfrick. That was exactly the ball I would have been asking for from Nikola Barisic, and come out and put that injury to one side, and very brave there to get both fists to that and start off the Monaro break.
Near with the corner. Chance for him to swing something into the penalty area towards the far post. Half cleared as far as Howe. It's clattered there by Adam Di Franceschi when he won the header, and it's a free kick in a decent position. Ahmed Chaibu's gone early. Chance for New. He's put it over the bar.
Good thinking. I like it. Yeah, that was.
Was it Dahl? Was it?
Yeah, Nick Dahl.
Sorry?
Left foot put it over the bar, and but looking at Chaibu there. Most people would have been expecting, a set-up for a free kick with a shot and goal, but yeah, that was well worked.
Yeah, my apologies. It was Nick Dahl in the 6-yard box, or just outside, I should say. Here he is again. Past the silk funds, Ahmed Shaibu. A little exchange of passes and swings it wide to Adam New. Driscoll on the overlap. Here he is. Can he deliver something into the penalty area? Not a bad ball. Fields as far as Ahmed Shaibu. Slice clearance by Barisic. Bassa Silk. Ahmed Shaibu. Here's a chance for Driscoll. Plenty to aim for. Second chance for the youngster. And he's got it caught under his feet. And there's something again from Ahmed Shaibu. He might be on the last warning here, the American.
No, he's gonna cop one. He got talked into it, I think. A lot of Woden boys are sort of reminding the ref that it's probably the 4th or 5th foul that Shaibu's given up. I'm going to be really interested to see Shaibu and Nikola Barisic go head-to-head the second half for us.
Well, the two players that have shown probably the most alertness, if you like, of the two in the referee's notebook. 2 yellow cards, one for Nikola Barisic, one for Lukman Ahmed Shaibu, into the final 30 seconds of the first stanza. De Silva and Bill will miscommunication. Bassa Silk. Cashman wanted square. Probably didn't want it quite so close to Vlaslovsky. And that's a bit of an error as well from Selden. He's kept it in play but presented it neatly to Driscoll. New. Sliding challenge from Field. Shot from Smith. Always fading away.
I think you'll be... I know it's not in his nature, but he'd be pretty close to reading the riot act to Woden at the moment. I think he'd be really disappointed. This is probably 30 or 40% down on what they've been producing in the last few weeks.
They've not been played with the same intensity that we've seen at the Riverside over the last 3 weekends. And prior to that, in the 2 matches that saw them beat Tigers and Canberra Olympic. Touch from New to Ahmed Shaibu, who tried the ambitious effort from range. Panthers had the better of the chances, and it's the Panthers in the lead. Well, there's a complete mess there from De Silva and Di Franceschi, and weren't unfortunate that Nick Dahl has presented it straight back, and that's probably in keeping with what we've seen for most of the half.
Disappointing, wasn't it, Ross?
Fields, McEwen clips it down the line. Seldon's got the pace to get away. Cashman concedes a free kick. Last chance perhaps of the opening 45 minutes for Woden-Weston. Adam Di Franceschi's getting forwards. They've gone short with it. McEwen lifted into the penalty area. Barisic was there. Jenkins won the header. It's going to come out for Vlaslovsky. Completely misses his shot first time. Got a piece of it on the second time, and Driscoll blocked it. Eyes lit up there, Blaise Vlaslovsky.
Another good opportunity, Russ, and half-time. Going back to last night, that was the same end that Sammy Haptomerium had a chance to bring Gungahlin United back into the game, and that time it was Blaise Vlaslovsky. Another fresh air shot, which is disappointing. What you would have given for those chances to have fallen to a Mate Barisic or Jay Seldon, I guess, Ross.
So the first 45 minutes done and dusted of this bottom four final series, and it's a goal from David Jenkins, an unlikely goal, his first of his career at this level, that separates the two sides at the interval. We'll be back for the second half a little bit later. It's Woden-Weston 0, Monaro Panthers 1. Welcome back to Deakin Stadium for the second half of this bottom four finals series competition, where the Panthers lead through the unlikely figure of David Jenkins at the break. I'm Russ Gibbs. With me for the second half is Frank Aisha. And Frank, looking forward to a second half, which hopefully it's a little bit more urgency from both teams, a little bit more quality from both teams.
Yeah, it looks like there might be a couple of changes actually, Russ, for Woden. Maybe Nikola Barisic has made way for, I think, Pelser.
Jackson Paisley, yeah.
Paisley, yeah.
Barisic having a rest.
And probably not a bad idea, not that he was playing poorly, it's just the yellow card and the likelihood of him putting himself into challenges. I think that's a smart, cautious move there from Yuli De Silva.
Jackson Paisley has been present for most of the games this season. It'll be his sixth substitute appearance of the campaign. He started two as well. Like for like swap, you'd think. I'm sure we'll see plenty of changes this afternoon. Was it this afternoon now? I'm not sure it is this afternoon now.
Finally kicked over to midday.
Panthers out for the second half as well. They look like they are as was in the first 45 minutes. What are you expecting in this half, Frank?
You'd like to see just a bit more composure from both teams. And look, at the end of the day, this is the last 45 minutes these guys have got to play all season. So, you wanted to start putting themselves a bit more urgency. They've got, 6 months to get over this game. Let's see them put their best foot forward.
How Driscoll does well and then gets a return from Adam New. Away from Vlaslovsky, away from Anderson. Bassa Silk looks for Adam New, fields across. More urgency to start the second half than we saw
Russ,
in the first 45.
You're dead right, there is a bit more urgency straight away, which is good. It's good to see.
It is the afternoon now. Everyone's woken up, shaking off the lethargy. Obviously, the caffeine from the early morning coffees has kicked in. How's yours going?
My what?
Energy levels.
Oh, it's good. Good, ready to go.
Yeah?
I could get out there and not play myself.
Cashman looking for Dahl on the far post. Got there ahead of Bill and picked up his own flick on. Nick Dahl and then delivers. Vlaslovsky. I've got 6'6" of him.
I G myself up, Russ. I've got a big grocery shop to do after this game.
What did you call us earlier? The real commentators of Garrett? Good shout, that. We haven't got our own TV show just yet. Dahl's touch looking for Bassa Silk. Chance for him to fizz it across, and it's come off Vlaslovsky.
It's funny, I was given a shopping list before I turned up, Russ, and since then I've had 3 messages with that. I can only say that because I know my wife doesn't watch this. It's so good.
Make sure we cut that bit out of the video. Adam Near with the corner.
Howe's taken up a good spot here, Russ.
Yeah, 5 shirts to aim for. Smith's one of them. Howe on the far post. It was Howe that got a connection. Not too much of one, though.
Yeah, you can see that unfolding here, Russ. Howe picked up a really good spot at the back post. They want to be wary of that Woden. That's how they got their first goal, Monaro. They found Howe unmarked at the back post, who headed across goal to Jenkins,
who channeled his inner Zlatan Ibrahimovic to volley home acrobatically.
Gee, I was going to compare him to Sammy Smith or someone like that, but let's turn it up a notch.
Yeah. It was what Lachlan Fields tried to do.
Yes.
Didn't quite succeed with. There is Fields, rather more orthodox ball forwards. That's sliced off the shin of Driscoll. Smith in between the sandwich of Vlaslovsky and Di Franceschi. Paisley, his first involvement. Selden looks to lift it towards the far post. Good ball that for Miguel De Silva, who tried the Di Canio volley.
He could have actually brought that down. I'm surprised you used Di Canio as your comparison there, Ross. He has never played for Man U.
Oh, I'm old, but remember that goal he scored?
I do.
Very memorable. Good skill from Jay Selden.
He's got this really good ability to bring the ball down from an awkward height to his feet, Russ, and not many people in Canberra have got that ability, I don't think.
Here he is. Jay Selden. Dodging and weaving. Been more involved in the first 4 minutes of the second half than he has in the entirety of the first 45. They put him down the middle a little bit more now, haven't they? Ahmed Shaibu down under the challenge. Do you think he's more effective down the middle, Jay Selden, when he comes in field, or would you like to see him a bit further wide?
I've always... Look, there's two mindsets to that. If you can get him one-on-one with the defender, then that's a good outcome. But at the end of the day, whether you put him in the middle or you put him out wide, you need to get the ball to him. Get your best players on the ball.
Barisic and Jenkins with a bit of a battle, and they're still going, and I'm not sure Ellen's shirt pulls both ways, and there's a little bit of afters with Jenkins and Barisic as well, and it's Barisic who gets the yellow card. We'd be surprised if Jenkins doesn't get one either. He does. They both get them.
Probably just needed a bit of an earlier intervention there from the referee, I guess, Russ. They were just going at it for a while.
Well, Mate Barisic...
I thought Woden was actually given the free kick.
I did as well, but it seems to have been turned the other way, doesn't it? Mate Barisic now joins Nikola Barisic on 4 yellow cards as well for the season.
I'm waiting for a line here about the Barisic household and cards. Come on, Ross. Come on, Ross.
I've got nothing. It's been a long season.
Let me down.
Not for the first time, and probably not the last.
I'm disappointed.
Must be due another swig of cough syrup. Dahl looks to burst between. Appeals for handball, half-hearted ones. Lejeune launches this one forward, and that's a good kick as well. And he's found all the way to De Silva. Lovely ball, but took his eye off it at the wrong moment. But he's still recovered. Found Barisic, Anderson. Brought down that one at an awkward height. Vlaslovsky, McEwen. Rosebucken read the intention from a mile away and looks to stretch the legs. Can't find Smith. De Franceschi in the way. Vlaslovsky. New with the challenge. Vlaslovsky just holds him off. De Silva. McEwen. If Woden do find an equaliser, I do think there is extra time and penalties today as well.
Really?
I believe so.
Okay.
You think they might go straight to a penalty shootout, wouldn't you?
I would have thought so, yeah.
Maybe both clubs can agree to that. I don't think they'll want an extra half hour.
Maybe we should just tell them that. If we tell them that, Russ, they might believe us.
Yeah, we might as well.
I've got a grocery to do.
De Franceschi, that's a sun ball that is. De Silva bounced up on him and he couldn't get it under control. Better signs for Woden in the second half though.
There's been a few opportunities for Miguel De Silva in the second half already. He'd be disappointed with his output at the end of that section there, Russ. Again, you would have been hoping that he brought that ball down and managed to either get a strike on goal or across the face of the goals.
Excuse me, he's found a bit of space though in the second half, hasn't he?
He has, just hasn't made the most of it.
Driscoll. Vlaslovsky with a challenge. Ahmed Shaibu with a touch. Niu finds Smith. Ahmed Shaibu wide. Driscoll. Niu runs into McEwen. Jenkins under pressure. Is Vlaslovsky, bit of space for him to advance forward now as well, and he's picked the wrong option there.
Well, he's just aimless pass there really from Blaze. He had two players there with that were in good positions, Mate Barisic and Jay Selden, and he's just overcooked that. Rice back in with the throw in there to Sam Smith. Loses the ball there, but one back from Cashman, who links up. And Rory Anderson clears the lines there.
McEwen in.
Driscoll's doing really well to get in good defensive positions. Russ again, just would like to see him win the ball and retain possession if he can.
De Franceschi, not the kindest of balls to Lachlan Fields. Gets it back again. De Silva's got some space again in front of us here. Better control this time. McEwen, which slips as he tried to play the ball forward, but picked out De Silva anyway. And he's off and running. Past Ahmed Shaibu, still going De Silva, and he's made his way all the way through. Might fall for Selden. Now Frink was there. Just for a moment, looked like Miguel De Silva was going to tiptoe his way through the defence.
That was a really good effort there. Good run there from Miguel De Silva. Very direct, running at the heart of the Monaro defence, and Selden was nearly the beneficiary of that.
Bassel slightly overhit. Driscoll upset with himself for not anticipating that ball.
Probably just needed to be a bit more wide out here on the sideline if they've got the ball.
Woden-Weston trailing. Meant that the Panthers win last week, the 5-0 win over Canberra Olympic, was the biggest ever win they've had in the NPL. Canberra Olympic, eclipsing a couple of 4-1 successes over Belconnen in 2013 and Tuggerong in 2019. And irrespective of who was on the Canberra Olympic team sheet, the record books will always show a 5-0 win. Cashman finds Ahmed Shaibu, delayed his pass.
They've got to make this territorial and possession advantage count wide in the next few minutes. Otherwise, they're prone to get hit in the sucker on the counter-attack rush and with a bit of a sucker punch. They're really on top now.
McEwen to De Silva. Barisic wide to McEwen. He couldn't bring it in to control. Just that final ball, isn't it? Then that build-up's pretty good until between the two penalty areas, and then it's just not working for them in the final third.
It's not even the final ball, Russ. It's just basic mistakes. Like even Pelser was played in there before. It was a good little ball, and he just overrun it. And then that one with Cashman.
Smith and Ahmed Shaibu exchanging passes. Chris McEwen not happy. I think, to be fair to Ahmed Shaibu, that was more of a collision than anything else.
Yeah, he just tends to make a lot of his contact, though, doesn't he?
McEwen picked off by Howe. Vlaslovsky, basic errors coming from both teams, and another one there from Martin Barisic. Recovers the situation there. Bill plays it forward. We're back into the pattern we had in the first half, where neither side can string together more than 2 or 3 passes. And another soft free kick.
Yeah, he just got caught.
Going to see a change.
Eli Howe making way, Russ.
Can't see who's coming on there. They're not ready.
That might be Chichenko. And Driscoll's gone into centre back.
So Eli Howe, who created the first goal, or the only goal I should say. Fields finds De Silva. Good to see Robbie Kachenko back in the team there. Another loose ball now. Smith finds Ahmed Shaibu. Half a yard he's got here, and he's found Nick Dahl. Difficult angle for Dahl. Back to Smith. We'll lined one up. And there's a mess in the back again there, and Di Franceschi pops it around for a corner, and at the moment it's all a bit messy. I think you'll say, Frank?
I think you're being really kind, to be honest, Russ. It's I think both coaches will be wanting a lot more quality from both these sides for the next 32 minutes.
New with the corner, swings it in. Fields with a meaty header away. Cashman just rolls Barisic, and Driscoll under pressure here. Jenkins also under pressure, and they've turned it over, and Woden still can't pick a ball forward. Paisler beaten to it by Jenkins. Ahmed Shaibu. Jenkins beaten to it by Di Franceschi. You mentioned it earlier, Frank, and we don't want to harp on about the point, but to be honest, I don't think we've mentioned just consecutive player names from each team for a good 5 minutes now. it feels like one of those playground stoushes, you know, where everybody's getting involved with one or two touches here and there.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? I suppose the other thing that we might want to mention as well is neither of these two teams have actually played on this pitch all season. Both sides would have played Canberra Croatia away from home at their home grounds.
It's a foul by Barisic on Jenkins. That's a good point, actually. They both played Canberra Croatia. Monaro played them in the first game of the season at Riverside, went down 2-1, and of course Woden-Weston played them on the synthetic at Melrose, and Woden-Weston have been on the synthetic for quite a lot of this season. And this is a wide pitch as well, big open spaces.
It would be similar to Riverside though, I guess, as size-wise.
I mean, visually it looks bigger, doesn't it? But that's probably the angle that we're at. I don't know the actual dimensions. Tony Oliveira probably would if he's watching. Over his pancakes or whatever he has in the morning.
Be ready for his afternoon nap by now. He's been up for 4 hours. My phone's about to explode, isn't it?
Probably, yeah. Rarely misses the game though. He would have been watching the under-23s this morning, I would have thought. Dahl looks for Cashman. Put the pressure on Adam Di Franceschi, and Smith has found Ahmed Shaibu. Now can he create a little bit of magic on the edge of the area? Turns infield. Connor Bill was there.
For someone on a yellow card, Russ, interesting challenge.
Ricochet could have gone anywhere. De Silva looks for the ball around the corner, and Driscoll came across to tidy up. Mate Barisic, Jay Selden trying to put a bit of urgency into this Woden-Weston outfit.
You just get the feeling that a mistake's going to lead to the next goal, Russ. You can just see something happening there where someone...
Selden delivers, and there's a touch onto the crossbar from Mate Barisic. It's normally Monaro Panthers hitting the woodwork, but Barisic's little flick had Nathan Alfrick in all sorts of problems, landing on the top of the frame of the goal. Close as they've come, the Wanderers.
Close as they've come, and yeah, I think Nathan was sort of beaten there. It wasn't like a rocket shot or anything. It was one that was sort of looping up and with a bit of spin. And unfortunate for Mate, it didn't actually bounce off the crossbar and come back to him.
Selden created it. Now his space for New. Kachenko getting up in support. New just goes through the gears to go into midfield, into the middle of the field, and here's a problem here. Real mistake, real chance for Dahl. Must be two. Is two. An error from Connor Bill, and Nick Dahl says thank you very much. It's on a plate, and the Panthers are 2 to the good.
I literally just finished saying a minute ago a mistake will probably lead to the next goal, and there it was. Ball was bouncing, keeper's come out to get it, header past his own keeper there from Connor Beale, I believe, and Nick Dahl's just come in and cashed in on that.
Yeah, miscommunication between Bill and Lejeune. Unfortunate for those two, but Nick Dahl says thank you very much and gets his second goal of the season. Believe it or not, Nick Dahl was the first Panthers player to score this year against Canberra Croatia in round 1. As it stands, he might be the last as well, unless there's more goals. Second of the campaign for Nick Dahl, and he is 4th in his career, so he's doubled his tally this season. Probably hasn't got an easy one.
I reckon I might have got that one.
Let's not go too far, Frank.
I would have had to run, wouldn't I?
Long way back, though, for the Wanderers now. We'll see what they're made of.
Yeah, you don't want to see the Wanderers drop their bundle now. I think,
Shaibu's been caught by Di Franceschi there as he tried to turn the central defender. Left the Panthers forward in a heap. Yeah, you were saying they don't want to drop their bundle. They want to make sure that they finish the season on a positive note, try and get back into it.
Yeah, well, the last thing you really want to see is anyone sort of, lose all discipline and sort of lash out or something. I mean, you can see the tensions are starting to rise a little bit, even from some of the supporters. Every time Lookman goes down from a free kick or something like that, you can hear that there's obviously a bit of discontent there. So, just about a bit of discipline now.
Neo goes short to Bassa Silk, and then he returns the compliment. Neo keeps it in. Can he deliver something towards Dahl? He did, but Di Franceschi was strong in the air. Cashman pops it back in, and Lejeune this time happy to claim. Send it downfield. He was looking for De Silva. The bounce might trick Driscoll there. Kachenko is back to help out. Well, inches away from 1-1 when Mate Barisic hit the crossbar. And now they find themselves 2-0 down, the Wanderers. Monaro Panthers, who ended the season rock bottom of the table, might be finishing the 5th to 8th place playoff in 5th. Here's Neil looking to add to the total. Couldn't get enough fizz on the shot. We'll see if the Wanderers open themselves up, looking for a way back into it, Frank.
Here's an opportunity.
Yeah, Anderson, plenty of space to work with. Barisic has made a run on the far post. Selden's gone near. Jenkins has gone with him. De Silva's in support, and he can't find him, and Driscoll can bring it away. Smith to Basasilk. And then Smith to Ahmed Shaibu. Asked a fair bit of Basasilk, who felt that from Chris McEwen. Solid rock to run into Chris McEwen, and Basasilk still down, out of picture, as Selden takes on Driscoll.
Yeah, I think that really would have taken the wind out of Benny's sails, that one. It's just winded, really, Russ. I think.
Slight difference in physique between the two, as Frank nearly trips over all the cords.
I'm not making a comment on our work health and safety. Yeah.
Short corner. De Silva swings it in. Jenkins heads it away. Ahmed Shaibu smashes it down the park. William Lejeune, the only player within 20 metres of that.
Basasilk really struggling here, Ross.
Yeah, he definitely felt that, didn't he?
It might be more than just than the wind being out of his sails. I think maybe he might have a bit of a cork there.
It's one of those ones where he didn't see Chris McEwen at all, did he? And he's turned into him.
That's a defender you like those.
Especially against a ball player. Here's Vlaslovsky. De Silva, who's hugging the touchline, looking to take on Kachenko. Loose ball again, though, and Dahl's got there. Smith, can he touch something off here to Adam New? He does. Near tries to return the pass, but Fields got in the way. Dahl, who scored the second goal, does well. Has it back off Rosebuck, and Di Franceschi goes cleaning him out there. Adam Di Franceschi, he is going in the book here 100%. It was an agricultural challenge, let's say.
I think you're doing a bit of disservice to the agricultural industry there, Ross. That was just he just lined him up and took him out, to be honest. And that's what we don't want to see. That's what I hope that we don't see from Woden now. You can see they're obviously frustrated, but it's not what you want to see now.
Yeah, he lined him up from a mile away, didn't he? And just came across and absolutely clattered him. Definitely wasn't going to pass, that was for certain.
Yeah, it's one of those old defender rules, isn't it? The ball's getting through, or the player's getting through, but they're not getting through together.
Chris McEwen's off. Fakedi Manda has come on, so that might be a little reshuffle in the back. Defensively, though, they need to deal with this first, the Wanderers. So a more attacking player for a fullback. Vlaslovsky over the top, and De Silva has got plenty of space here. Kachenko looking to close it down as quick as he can. Forces the move to slow down. Anderson tries to pick his way through. So 3 at the back, Frank. Does it look that way to you?
Certainly does, Ross. Yeah, so that's a good pick up that he's deployed 3 at the back. It's interesting to see how Monaro deal with that now, and how quickly Jimmy picks up on it.
Yeah, extra body in midfield might help. Vlaslovsky loses possession. Ahmed Shaibu.
And to be honest, Ross, he probably could have done that a lot earlier. It's not as if the 2 centre backs and have been under too much pressure from the Woden side, from the Monaro side for a long time.
Jay Selden's crossfield ball.
Is that the Wagga team, you think, Russ, up on the hill there? watching the game?
Could well be. Yeah, there's an under-23 game after this as well, isn't there? So I'm not really sure who's playing in that one. Here's Manda's first involvement. Finds De Silva. Into the final quarter of this one. Panthers leading by 2-0. Jenkins and Dahl on the score sheet. Vlaslovsky in midfield, and it's a bit short, but I wonder his passing today hasn't been as slick as it normally is it? It's been under hit, or, and as I said, do you think that's something to do with the surface, not used to this field?
I don't know, Russ. And this might sound a bit odd, but I mean, I'm just wondering if they're a bit complacent, to be honest. They're on the back of 5 games undefeated. Coming into this, they would have fancied their chances of wrapping up, a 6th game and taking out that 5th to 8th title. I just think that
De Silva from distance, better build up that though.
Yeah, they just don't seem like they were at the races this morning.
Well, in a bit of trouble, needing to find a way back into it. If they want to end the season unbeaten, they've got 20 minutes or so to find a couple of goals. Ahmed Shaibu finds Dahl. Numbers in this attack for the Panthers. Rosebakken adding to that as well. Delivery is not good enough for him though. Unusual for Sam Rosebakken. So overall, Frank, what's your thoughts been of this tournament, the 5-8? It's been good to have more games, isn't it? But it's been really weird in the way teams have had to approach this.
Yeah, and I mean, I listened to some of the M&M podcast interviews during the week, and you listen to the Gungahlin boys, you listen to Gubrisa from Canberra, Croatia, and I think everybody favours the traditional 1-3-1v4 or 2v3, or a weekend where you've got a couple of games where they're just finals. I think it's been a good concept under the circumstances. Having said that, those 3 weeks that we had where we played sides that the top 4, bottom 4, whether or not you could have actually just extended the season by an extra 3 weeks and even said, right, so you might split the competition that 1st, 4th, 5th and 8th go in one group and the rest go in the other, and then you just play each other. Those teams actually play each other twice, and then the rest of the competition plays each other and then you maybe have a top 4 after that, and just maybe have a straight elimination 1v4, 2v3, and see how it goes. It's a difficult one for these players. I think they would have appreciated the 3 extra games, but at the same time, I don't think anyone really wanted to be in this game this morning. I don't think Tuggeranong did. I don't think Olympic did, and that's not to discredit these guys, because I think right at the moment probably Woden are wishing that they weren't here either. But it's great that we actually got as many games as we did in this competition. Still to be sold on this concept, but I think what they've done under the circumstances has been pretty exceptional. Yeah,
we hope to be back to normal, or as normal as we can be, next season. Manda in behind, fires it across goal. That wasn't a bad ball, actually. Well, there was nobody in a red and black shirt who had gambled. Don't think they expected their teammate to get there.
It was a very good ball. Got a lot of purchase on that.
Less than 20 minutes to go. Goals from Nick Darlin, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You wait till you speak to David Jenkins later, Frank. He'll be telling you that one was from about the edge of the penalty area. Overhead kick.
I'll give it 6 months, Russ. It'll be it'll be from outside the box, and he would have beaten 3 players to get there.
Paisley looking to turn in midfield. He's run into trouble. Now can Bassasilk take advantage? Smith's made a run to the right. Bassasilk was looking for someone to the left. Was looking for Adam New, but it was perhaps the harder of the 2 balls that he could have played. Miguel De Silva looking for Selden over the top. Jenkins wins the header, but not with any real purchase. Rosebakken to bring it away. Dahl. Looking at the benches, Martin Denjo Boak for Woden-Weston available still to come on. Ed McCarthy, Osman Daramy or Dimi Paraskos for Monaro Panthers. And it is a change.
Adam Near coming off there. Ed McCarthy,
Yep.
He's been here at Monaro for a long, long time. Ed McCarthy. He's actually got some really good ability.
Scored a nice goal last week against Canberra Olympic.
Yeah. Just hasn't been able to crack it as a consistent performer at NPL level, but he's definitely got ability. Lovely guy too.
Yeah, he's been around a long time. 88 appearances now at the first grade level. It's a good ball forward from Fields. Mander's made the run in behind here, but he just skipped away off the surface.
He has a pretty good Twitter game too, Ed McCarthy.
Does he?
Not bad on Twitter.
We're looking for a King of Canberra Twitter. Eddie Coggan, the King of Canberra TikTok. So he tells us.
I reckon there's a few nominations for the King of Canberra Instagram. I think Jay Kelly be up there, and so would Josh Gillespie and Jeremy Haptamariam. Not bad at it.
Cashman bustling run forward here, and he's found Dahl in a bit of space. Cashman's gone into the box as well, looking for the return ball. It might find its way to Cashman, and his touch just let him down, slides into the challenge. Silk looking to dance his way through, still going. Bit of a mess here, and Ahmed Shaibu's fired it in, and he's cleaned out Silk in the process, and McCarthy's lashed it over the crossbar. A catalogue of mistakes in there. Aaron Cashman, who hasn't got a Premier League goal for a long time, only 2 in 124 games, his eyes lit up there. His touch rather let him down. It's not been the best of 10 minutes for Ben Silk, has it? Ran into Chris McEwen, and then Ahmed Shaibu smashes the ball at him from 2 yards.
That was not the best advertisement for the game in Canberra.
McCarthy's left that short. Vlaslovsky stretches out the long leg. Missed by De Silva. Ahmed Shaibu finds McCarthy. Now he's taken that nicely into stride. It's 3-on-3 here. Ed McCarthy, Smith to the left, Dahl to the right. Smith is the option. Here is Sam Smith looking to sell the defender. Smith onto that left foot, and Fields comes across with a really good block. Fine piece of defending from Lachlan Fields.
Yeah, just Sammy Smith once he turned the defender, he was in on goal, but it just seemed to overrun it a little bit. If he could just hit that little bit further in front of him, he was in for a first time strike there. The extra touch meant that gave Fields an opportunity to come in and close him down.
Well, Silk is going to take the corner.
So you got 5 Monaro guys sitting on halfway at the moment, pretty much.
3 Woden with them, and Manda halfway through. So a sparsely populated penalty area. Can Silk find the Panthers shirt? He swings it across the 6-yard box. It was a really good delivery.
There's nothing wrong with that ball, was it?
De Franceschi with a backheel flick to concede the throw. Just needed someone to gamble.
As soon as you see a ball bounce on the 6-yard box, Russ, you've got to be asking questions why someone isn't taking a chance and getting to that.
Cashman swings it in towards Ahmed Shaibu. It might fall here for McCarthy in the penalty area. The force his way in is still Ed McCarthy. He's opened up for him, and Fields blocks it again. It's been lively since he's come on, McCarthy. Go back to that ball across the 6-yard box, Frank. As a former centre forward, a little piece of me dies inside when no one gets near to those.
I don't blame you, mate. Like, to be honest, even as a defender, you're thinking, how does that happen? And even then, like, Ed's had a great chance. He probably nearly brought down for a penalty a couple of occasions. Barisic made a good run.
Vlasovsky's looked for him, and he found him, and Barisic got the better of Rosebarken. His cross can't beat Jenkins. He may have conceded a corner here. I think he might have kept it in and then played it off of Barisic for a goal kick. Good bit of defending from Jenkins.
He's done well.
Didn't give it up, did he? 12 minutes left of this one. If you've just tuned in, you've missed goals from David Jenkins and Nick Dahl, which give the Panthers a 2-0 lead. And at the moment, the way the game's going, you can't see a way back for the Wanderers, can you?
No, Russ. I know that you can hear up here. You can hear their goalkeeper William Lejeune really egging them on and trying to lift for that last sort of 10, 10 or 12 minutes, just one more effort, but can't see it at the moment.
Well, for all their neat approach work in some parts, and they've had probably 50-50 in terms of possessions anyway, Nathan Alfrink's really had not a lot to do. There was one that hit the crossbar, wasn't there, from Barisic. That's about it, really.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they'll be disappointed with their final third place today.
Sliced clear from Jenkins, who gets it straight back. That was rather kind of Mate Barisic, wasn't it? Fields, in amongst all that, he had 2 good blocks defensively. Whilst you may have thought that Smith and McCarthy may have dawdled on the shots somewhat, you can still only credit Fields for getting in the way.
Yeah, he hasn't given up the effort, so he's managed to get back and defend well there on both occasions. It's not a disservice to him, but yeah, I think both strikers will be a bit disappointed with their touches.
Driscoll looks for Dahl. Paisley got in the way. Now here's Vlaslovsky. Selden the run ahead of him. Back to Vlaslovsky. Barisic clips it into the penalty area. Jenkins was in the way. And Barisic has gone towards Manda, and he's in here for Kenny Manda. And there's the first real stop of the afternoon from Alfred, and I think it bounced back and hit Manda on the arm. About sums up the attacking threat at the moment.
He's shown a bit since he's come on, though. He's got forward into the box a couple of times.
Look, most likely, isn't he?
Yeah, he's done all right.
Good energy for Kenny Manda.
Like I said, Russ, these boys have got 10 minutes left of their season. So, you'd expect them just to show something now.
Buster Silk and Smith might be in here behind Fields, who recovered his mistake to knock it back to Lejeune. Sam Smith thought he was going to get a run on goal. Buster Silk's won that one, and he stepped away, and he's got runners outside him as well. He's gone for goal himself. He had McCarthy in acres of space on the edge of the box if he could have squared it. Lejeune's gone early, and there's absolutely no one in a Wanderers shirt, and Jay Selden throws up his hands.
He's not the only one, Ross.
Yeah, mimicking Frank Keisha on the balcony. It was on the scaffolding, I should say. I can understand he likes to go early, Lejeune, but needs to be a bit more accurate than that. Nathan Alfrink in no rush.
He's got to get. A couple of times I've noticed with Nathan when he comes out to kick, he gets very close to the edge of the box, Russ.
Fields into attacking zone. That's a ball, and it might come for Lachlan Fields. In on goal, Lachlan Fields off the crossbar and over. A good run forward from the centre defender.
Great run forward, and it's smart from Mate Barisic not to pursue the ball because he would have been called offside. But that's a really good industrious run there from Lockie Fields. I was also just going to mention the game that Bassa Silks played today, Russ. I think he's done a really good job. Been lively, been energetic, and really tried to get into the game as much as he possibly can. And we've got a substitution happening.
Yeah, Praskos for Cashman. Lachlan Fields hasn't scored a goal either. That he's got much closer than that.
No, he took his shot early. He probably could have even taken the touch, but I mean, credit to the lad to take it early and try it.
You'll appreciate this. It reminded me of
Tony
Adams from a long time ago. Do you remember that? Last game of the season.
He didn't have to finish a sentence. He's getting scary.
Exactly. It reminded me of it, just the way he lolloped forward as a centre back, and he crashed it home that day, didn't he, at Highbury?
Of course he did, Russ.
As if it was.
I think that was a 4-0 win that sort of won a title for Arsenal. Basically, yeah.
It's a nice way to finish the season for the Gunners that time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite scary that we were thinking the same thing. I spent way too much time up here, Frank. Praskos back to Rosebakken. That's loose. Anderson, that's loose as well. De Silva. 5 shirts up in this attack for the Wanderers. Selden one of them. Looking to get away from Kachenko. Paisler lifts one in towards Vlaslovsky, who's chasing it willingly but can't keep it in play.
Not a bad idea. Just that final third forward and just let him down a little bit.
It's been a long season in some respects, even though it's been a short one, if you know what I mean.
About to say it was only 10 games, wasn't it? Rory Anderson coming on for us, and he's really stamped himself as a player to watch. I believe he's had a good season here at Woden. Really come to the fore in the last few games.
Yeah, young Roy Anderson's goals coming 2 against Canberra Olympic in that 3-1 win, and then he scored the goal in the 1-1 draw as well. Martin Deng comes on for the 93rd time in his NPL career. He's been a good servant to a couple of clubs around Canberra.
Well, both these clubs, I believe.
Always plays with a smile on his face as well. He's got 7 minutes to try and get his team back into it. Scored 20 goals in his career.
Scored an absolute bomb against Belconnen last year, first game of the season, Russ, out at Melrose, to give him, I think, a 2-0 win or something against Steve Forshaw's side. Woden were flying at the beginning of last year. They top of the table at the beginning of the season for a few weeks.
Complete contrast to the way they started this one. Here's De Silva looking to finish it strongly. Perhaps took too long.
It's probably done that a few times today, Russ. Just dwelt on it a few times. That, you know, if you just get your delivery a little bit earlier. As we said, it doesn't have to be pinpoint. It just needs to be in the right areas.
Fields looks for Vlaslovsky. Driscoll was there. This might fall for Barisic. Royce Bucket looking to make sure that it doesn't, or at least to put enough pressure on the Woden forwards, and does just that. So both teams have made their 3 subs. We're going to play out the final 5 minutes of the campaign with what we've got in front of us. Is there one more goal for us in NPL1? Don't forget, NPL2 grand final next week. Ugali versus either Wagga City Wanderers or Queanbeyan City. That game this afternoon at 4 p.m. If you're in and around the Deakin area, you can come and watch. I believe there's limited attendance. Smith, chance here. Space opens up. Real opportunity for McCarthy. And he took too long again. And Deng, his first involvement is to not only win the ball, but to be brought down by McCarthy for a free kick. Another good chance there.
Yeah, again, probably the ball needed to be hit a little bit harder to out to Ed, but he tried to get it back onto his right foot, where he probably just should have pulled the trigger first time with his left.
Fields finds De Silva. Not much on the far post. He has to go short to Vlaslovsky. Selden. Barisic. Selden tried to keep it in, but settles for the throw. Driscoll with the clearance. Paisler. Selden. Tracking back was done by Nick Dahl. A reasonable game this afternoon. Nick Dahl put a bit of effort in, scored himself a goal as well.
Got the loudest warm-up happening over here, Ross, over my right shoulder.
Vlaslovsky looking to find De Silva. He's peeled away here, Miguel De Silva, and he can't wrap his foot around it. Disappointing. Is it Western Molonglo or something like that?
I was wondering if that might have been Wagga, actually, Ross.
Might well have been.
Black and white.
Well, don't know if who's in the under-23 semis in NPL2
Mate,
or reserve grades.
You need to know all this. What's going on? Is your EA taking a holiday or something?
That's why I bring you along. Supposed to bring something to the team, Frank.
I'll bring coffee.
That's true. Bassa Silk wins it from De Franceschi. Might get it back again from Paisler, but De Franceschi's there. Paraskos snaps back to win it. Jenkins picked off by Connor Bill. Selden looks for the little flick and turn, and he does well, but Smith's back there helping out defensively into the final 2 minutes of the campaign, plus whatever stoppage time Theodrokopoulos decides to add on. I wouldn't imagine there'd be too much. Don't recall too many stoppages in this half.
No, not this half.
Fields.
Gee, you standard 2 stoppage.
De Silva into the penalty area looking for Deng. Jenkins too strong. And there's a problem there. Was that Lachlan Fields running back? Something happened there to his knee?
He's been cramping for a while, I think. But I don't know.
Keep an eye on
that looked worse than the cramp.
At the other end, Kachenko's ball in. I'm hoping that that's not a knee, or if it is just cramp. Here's Laszlowski. A little sympathy for him from his teammates. That's into the general area where it is. It looks like cramp, doesn't it?
He's almost passed it to him.
Ahmed Shaibu just lets it roll out of play.
Would have been better if he asked him to get up and get it.
He has got up. It is cramp, isn't it?
I think so.
The way he went down for a second there, you were worrying that it was a knee or an ankle or something.
I was watching him for the last couple of minutes. He was stretching up on halfway and it looked like a cramp. I was just a bit worried it might have been a little bit lower and maybe an Achilles or something like that.
Fortunately, it doesn't seem to be. He's only got 60 seconds plus stoppage time to see out the campaign. Paraskos cleverly lets that roll past him. Deng not giving him a minute's peace though. Driscoll, long ball forward. Nobody in a Panthers shirt is there, so Connor Bill is tasked with retrieving. Is there a final goal for one of these sides in the 2020 season? Paisler, Selden. Well, Paisler was caught late by Smith and Selden was caught late as well, so take your pick. Selden with the free kick. Won't be too many more chances for the Wanderers to get themselves a consolation, because that's probably what it's going to be as we head into stoppage time.
Di Franceschi moves forward for this.
Only Fields and Paisler behind the ball. Fields understandably so. Selden clips it into the area. It might fall here for Barisic. He's brought it down. Can he fashion a shooting chance? It's good there for Manda. Deng with the back heel, and somehow he squeezed it home. Martin Deng via a deflection or two, I think. He will claim it. And Wanderers do have a consolation. Is there time?
Well, final goal for the season, I reckon, Russ, and it's a back heel. After basically just a chaos in the box, which pretty much sums up this game at the moment.
I was going to say, if ever a goal summed up a match, that was probably it. So I'm going to credit it with Martin Deng, unless we hear otherwise. It was his back heel. It may well have taken a deflection off of someone before it went through, maybe even went through Nathan Uffring's legs.
I think so, yeah. But look, it was a really decent ball actually clipped in from Selden to find Barisic. He's done well to sort of hold the ball up and... but here we go. Let's see if we can get something out of this. Well,
Wanderers suddenly feel that they could get this game into extra time. Ed McCarthy looking to make sure he doesn't. 3 shirts back there helping. Deng got the foot in. De Silva. Fields. Imagine he wouldn't want an extra half an hour. Paraskos slides in. That's come off Martin Deng as well, and that's a Monaro Panthers ball. We said they needed something. They've got something. Ahmed Shaibu. Good turn to get away from De Silva and Paisler. He runs the ball to the corner. Paisler's in with a challenge. Paraskos. Fields slides in and brings down Paraskos, and he's cramped up again. Lachlan Fields.
Just stick him up front.
I think he'll be, if Wanderers do score, he'll be happy that his team are level. I'm not sure he'll be happy about another half an hour.
No, I'm imagining they'll be able to make a substitution in that. That's what they've been doing in previous.
Think so, yeah.
Yuli can take someone else off. Do your best.
Well, we're deep into stoppage time. The Panthers are 2-1 up. They have a free kick. What is their ambition here? Does Lukman Ahmed Shaibu and McCarthy get this into the penalty area, or do they go short?
Well, can you leave a couple of players forward, maybe, Woden?
Ahmed Shaibu happy to take it to the corner. Well, he's got away with it here. Into the penalty area. Tries the bending shot, and it's deflected for a corner, and I imagine they will be taking this short.
Well, there I've got 4 players on the halfway line. Woden could probably afford to stick a couple of guys up there in case they do win the ball.
McCarthy trying to shield it from the attentions of Paisler, who does well to win it. De Silva's giving it straight back to Ahmed Shaibu, and Theodrakopoulos blows the final whistle, and the Panthers...
Well, Lukeman looks happy.
He certainly was. They've come away with a win. 2-1 in the championship playoff decider, and Frank, it was a bizarre game, wasn't it? I mean, it kicks off at 11:15 in the morning. We did mention it, and it was one of those matches that had a bit of everything in terms of half chances and that, but the quality overall, I think, was a little bit down on what we've seen in recent weeks from both these sides.
Yeah, agree, Ross. And I mean, good that both teams actually finished the game with 11 against 11. It was played in a good spirit. Work to do for both these clubs the same way that every other team in Canberra will look to improve. And let's just look. I think for the guys that were out there, their season, they'll be happy their season's over now, and they can look forward to 2021.
Thank you very much, Frank, for all your comments this season. It's been an absolute pleasure. We're hoping to see you around again next year with whatever you decide to do or whatever's happening with you in 2021.
Yeah, so a couple of decisions to be made, and probably a couple of announcements to be made the next week or so, and see where it takes me. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, Russ, and I'd like to thank all the people that have been giving us so many positive comments on the social media over the last few weeks as well. It's been a real blast. Really
just so your phone does explode, spoiler alert, might see Frank Keisha back on the sideline somewhere next season.
You could possibly see that happen.
Goals from David Jenkins and Nick Dahl gave Monaro Panthers a 2-0 lead here. Woden-Weston pulled one back in stoppage time through Martin Deng's deflected back heel, but it's the Panthers who come away with the victory. The final score here at Deakin Stadium is Woden-Weston Wanderers 1, Monaro Panthers 2.